Hi, it's Vex, and today is the day, finally, after years and years, decades of waiting, well, not a full decade, but a long time, we have our Squirrel deck. That is right. We have our commander, Chatterfang, and Wizards is so nice to bless us with this in our, if you got in a bundle, you see the little Squirrels of the Multiverse, Chatterfang there, and then some other random squirrels, but chitter spitter. But we have our Chatterfang Squirrel General deck. I've actually been waiting 15 years to make a legitimate squirrel deck. That's right. You believe me not. I got these little squirrel tokens 15 years ago in 2006, ready to make squirrel tokens before Commander even was a thing. Right there. 15 years, but now we have it. Chatterfang Squirrel General. And yes, Chatterfang is going to be permanent addition to my collection. I am making the 32 deck challenge, and I do not have a Golgari deck, thank God, because I would have taken it apart just for Chatterfang. So let's actually read what Chatterfang does. Chatterfang, put a little squirrel token here, is a 2 and a green. Legendary creature, Squirrel Warrior. Legit Squirrel General, not like Toski. Forest Walk. So if opponent has a forest, then Chatterfang cannot be blocked. And the cool part is if one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus that many green, 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens are created instead. So if you make one token of anything, like a treasure, you make one treasure token, and one squirrel token. And then you have black, which gives it the Golgari color identity. Sacrifice X squirrels. Target creature gets plus X, minus X until end of turn. So we got a removal spell plus pump spell stapled onto our Chatterfang. Chatterfang is a really cool commander in that it does a lot of things. It does token synergies, aristocrat synergies right here, but you don't necessarily have to make a squirrel deck. You can make a token deck, and it makes squirrels. So kind of like Chatterfang powers itself up with the sack ability. But of course, we're making a squirrel deck, right? We have our tokens, and we have so many tokens, I ran out of sleeves. All these squirrels, including this is from the Secret Lair Squirrel drop. And of course I got the Secret Lair Squirrel drop. All these tokens, so many different tokens, because that's what Chatterfang wants us to do. I ran out of sleeves, so kind of sucks, but I have to get more. And then, okay, so let's dive right into this deck tech, because I'm super excited here. We have our Squirrel General wannabe, Toski, Bear of Secrets. It was a legendary creature squirrel, but it just had nothing to do with squirrels. But of course, this squirrel belongs in this squirrel deck here. Toski. So let's just see, I'm move it over here. Let's keep it in the middle right here. And Toski is really cool because Toski can just generate some good card advantage and is an indestructible squirrel, which is great. So, oh yeah, I forgot the first section we're going to go through is all the squirrels. I did buy the Secret Lair Squirrels, and some of them are pretty bad, but you know what? I'm including it in this deck because I bought that Secret Lair and they look cool. You guys, welcome to mix and match squirrels or add every squirrel card. I didn't add every squirrel card like Chatterstorm. It's just these squirrel cards aren't that great. That's the problem. Squirrel cards aren't the greatest. It's probably more optimized if you just made tokens and used squirrels from Chatterfang. But of course, we're doing Squirrel Tribal deck. This is Commander. Commander lets us do silly things like this. So you have Toski, the new Squirrel Sovereign, gives your squirrels a buff. Finally, a Squirrel Lord you can play 4 of in a deck. Squirrel Mob, so this is from the Secret Lair I was talking about. It gets a +1/+1 for each other squirrel on the battlefield. So we just included a bunch of squirrels, so we're doing the squirrels first. Some squirrels are pretty bad. I'm only including it because it has the word squirrel in it. Crows and Beast, 3 and a green. Threshold 7/7, so it can be 8/8 giant squirrel, which is really cool. And then you can sacrifice any of these squirrels to Chatterfang's ability if necessary. I would recommend trying to sacrifice Chatterfang tokens, but you can sacrifice real cards. Ravenous Squirrels. This is Squirrel from Modern Horizons. Very, very strong. I love this squirrel. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact or creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Ravenous Squirrel. So whenever you sack a creature to Chatterfang, bam, +1/+1 counter. And then 1 black-green, sacrifice an artifact or creature, you gain 1 life and draw a card. This is very good card advantage, very good sack outlet. It's just good in general. And you have a classic Squirrel's Nest, which goes really well with Earthcraft. Earthcraft is on reserve list, so it's not in this deck. There's one reserve list card. We'll get to it, and I'll explain why when we get to it. But Squirrel's Nest, enchant land, tap a land, make a squirrel. Super fun. Then we have some non-squirrel makers. Scurry Oak, brand new card from Modern Horizons. And I believe because squirrels are such a popular tribe that they're going to make new and better squirrels over and over again. So this deck has such huge potential in the future because they're gonna pump out squirrels like throughout tons of the sets. So I'm excited about that. Scurry Oak has evolved, and when one or more +1/+1 counters are put on it, it makes them more squirrels. So there is an infinite combo with Ivy League Denizen. I did not include it because it's just the two cards are hard. I just didn't want to have it in the deck because like naturally drawing those two cards are hard to do. I mean, you can add more tutors to make it happen, but that's not what we want to do. Squirrel Wrangler, part of the secret layer. This thing's bad. This card's bad. I'm just gonna declare it bad. You gotta sacrifice, pay 1 in green, sack a land, create 2 squirrels. 1 in green, sack a land. Squirrels get +1/+1 until end of turn. It's not even +1/+1 counter. It's pretty bad, but it is part of the secret layer, and I want to include every secret layer, and I love the picture too. So this is what's great about Commander. I can just include cards that I love that aren't optimal, but it's just fun to have. That's the charm of Commander. Okay, moving on. Drakekeeper is a new card from Commander Legends. Again, not a non-squirrel, but when it ETBs, you make 2 squirrels, and then it can pump your squirrels and give them menace. All right, so this is the reserve list card, Deranged Hermit. I've owned Deranged Hermit for a very long time. I know this card has spiked because of Chatterfang becoming a commander, but I've always wanted to put this in my Squirrel deck, and this is the only exception I have for reserve list cards going into my casual commander decks. I know this thing's like over $100 or something, but I've had it for so many years. I bought it for like $5, something ridiculously cheap, and I have to have it in my deck. But it makes 4 squirrels. I mean, make 4 squirrels. Imagine making 4 squirrels second to Chatterfang, give something +4 -4, and then it buffs squirrels +1/+1. It does have Echo. But if you don't have Deranged Hermit, you can have Deep Forest Hermit. Again, makes 4 squirrels. Deranged Hermit buffs all squirrels. So if anybody has changelings or squirrels on the other side, Deep Forest Hermit buffs your squirrels with a new templating, makes 4, but it only lasts for 3 turns. Then we have more hermits. Why not? Underworld Hermits. Make squirrels equal to your devotion to black. This is very expensive. It's basically like ETB 2 squirrels or more. Not that great. Here's another old school card they have not reprinted. Nut Collector. Again, not a squirrel, but make squirrels. Be your upkeep, make squirrel. And then you have Threshold. All squirrels get +2/+2. So it's insane. A 6-drop 1/1 that makes 1/1 squirrels that maybe pump squirrels. Again, not the most efficient of lords. Like if you're playing Goblin Tribal or Merfolk Tribal, you have so many good cards, but Squirrel Tribal is a little, it's a little hard. Of course, Squirrel Tribal, if you notice, like a bunch of these cards make lots of tokens, so that's pretty fun. Synergies with Chatterfang. I think they made an extremely good general for Squirrels because it has token synergies. Chatter Squirrel. This is a horrible card, but again, part secret layer. Just like pay 1 green, make a 1/1 squirrel, and then you can flash it back and make another squirrel. But with Chatterfang, you can make 4 total squirrels. Verdant Command. Again, this can make 2 squirrels, 2 tap squirrels at instant speeds, or messes people's graveyard. Graveyard hits very good. Exile target card from graveyard, so somebody's reanimating things, you can just bam, get them. Squirrel Sanctuary. Again, 1 green makes a 1/1 squirrel, and then when something dies, you can pay 1, return it, pay green, so you can bring it back and forth from your hand. Now, this is one of my favorite cards from Modern Horizons, Squirrel card. Chitter Spitter. I love the name, but I love the ability. It's 2 in a green. Beginning your upkeep, you may sacrifice a token. If you do, put an acro counter on Chitter Spitter. So that's very fun right there. Squirrels you control get +1/+1 for each acro counter on Chitter Spitter. So this deck is like an Aristocrats deck, as I mentioned before. It's got a little Aristocrats theme where you sack creatures, get value. Here is a natural sack outlet and a token generator. So you can tap 1 in green, tap it, make a green squirrel token, which you can sack the Chitter Spitter, which is kind of ironic that you just take your green squirrel that you make from Chitter Spitter and just spit it out like into acorns, but it is what it is. So this is a token generating deck. So we have other token generators that generate a lot of tokens here. Slimefoot Stowaway, pay 4, make a Saproling. So very good token generator. You got a lot of mana, like Cabal Coffers, which is in the deck. Tendershoot Dryad makes more Saplings. Synergizes with Slimefoot pretty well, but makes on everybody's upkeep. And then Sage's Blessing +2/+2, so it's really good. Betelgeuse Witherbloom. So I did have a Witherbloom deck tech, but makes creatures at during each upkeep. Makes pest creatures right there. And it can also untap your lands. Liliana makes some zombie tokens, but this is also cool because it plays in with the Aristocrat's theme as well. Whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. And it doesn't say token or non-token, so when you sack some squirrels to Chatterfang, you can draw cards for all the squirrels you sacked. Azuri's Predation. This is like removal plus creatures. So if you're it makes a creature green 4/4 green beast for each creature your opponents control and fights them. So you can kill a bunch of things. I think the wording on it is if you have, let's say, Chatterfang, you would make double the amount of creatures, but only half your creatures would fight. So it only needs each of those beasts fights a different one of those creatures. So I think you can make a squirrel fight a creature instead of a beast if you have these two on the battlefield at the same time. Second Harvest, you double your tokens. That's pretty neat because it's a token deck. Of course, we're playing token deck. We gotta play Parallel Lives, double tokens. Playing token deck, gotta play Doubling Season. There's like that Oak card that has +1/+1 counters, but besides that, Doubling Season is the way to go. I mean, Liliana can get Doubling Seasoned, which you could ultimate right away. But besides that, it's just for the tokens. And then we have Death Triggers here. We, of course, again, playing Aristocrats, we want to gain and drain. Blood Artist helps you gain and drain. Zoopool Cutthroat, more gain and drain. Bastion of Remembrance. I love these cards that do like two things, right? This makes a token and does the draining. So it's really cool. Poison Tip Archer, more this doesn't do draining, just makes players lose life, but it's still drain to me. PS Plunderer. This is insane. This card's like above $10 or something. And it's just uncommon from Rivals. But when things die, again, Death Triggers, make a treasure, and it's not. Again, it's just any creature, which is great. Even tokens. Mazirek. I think that's how you say it. This is cool. It's like when you sack. So it's not exactly when you die. No, these triggers, Magic is really complicated. Where like this is a death trigger here. This makes a treasure. This makes people lose a life. This drains. So this is when player sacks, which is Chatterfang sacking. You're doing a lot of sacking in this deck as well. You put counters, make your scores bigger. Speaking of sack outlets, you have a Seer. Just in case you don't Chatterfang or you don't want to destroy a creature and get a different kind of value. Sack. Yawgmoth is one of the best sack outlets ever. You pay a life, sack a creature, put -1/-1 counter up to one target creature, and draw a card. This is sack outlet attached to a card draw. Vizier only scries. Of course, another good sack outlets for Action and Altar here. Make some mana. We do have some tutors. I got to power this deck up a little bit by having Demonic Tutor. And actually Diabolic Content, which is a sack outlet itself. Just actually sometimes this might be better than Demonic Tutor if you want to trigger all your Aristocrats things. And then we have Urza Saga. I consider Urza Saga a tutor, and it's actually really good in this deck because it does, it synergizes by making tokens, which Chatterfang can make you Squirrel tokens. There isn't that many artifacts, but it makes you tokens. And then it's a tutor because it tutors for a 0 or a 1. And then what it can tutor is for an expedition map, which then can find an Orborg or Cabal Coffers or Yavimaya. Remember, if you have Yavimaya on the field, which I will get to, Chatterfang has Forest Walk, then you can just attack. It's just unblockable. Another thing that you could tutor for is Skull Clamp, which is insane. With your tokens and card draw, you can draw a million things. And right there, speaking of card draw, see how I just lean on to the next subject right there. Plumb the Forbidden, sack outlet, and card draw, which is really good. Solvent Library, card draw. This is just good green card draw, Solvent Library. If this card wasn't that expensive, I'd include more decks, but it is kind of expensive. Then you have Species Specialist. When a creature of your chosen type dies, draw a card. This deck does have a good card draw, which I will admit I had to include more card draw than I usually include because the Squirrels are there's not a lot of squirrels. That's the real reason. There's not a lot of good squirrels. There's more squirrels. I just didn't include them all. Orange Frostfang, it's kind of like the Toski thing. Deal damage to a player, draw a card. Several attack creatures you control have Death Touch. So you just send all your squirrels sideways and bam. I mean, if they want to block, they lose a creature. Unless they have first strike, of course. Shamanic Revelation. So usually when I'm going tall, I have like Gurks, the Garrick one. But here we have Shamanic Revelation where I'm going wide. And Moldervine Reclamations, when this is really good in Aristocrat's deck if you're playing Golgari. Creature die, draw a card. So there's like lots of card draw in here, right there. These card draw, and there's other things that like Ravenous Squirrel that draw cards too. I have some removal. I've been wanting to put this in my Golgari deck. I've been waiting to make a Golgari deck. So more Secret Lair. Assassin's Trophy looks pretty neat, right? Beast Within, destroy anything. Assassin's Trophy, destroy anything. Binding the Old Gods, destroy almost anything. And it lets you ramp and gives you creature Death Touch, which is good. You can just do some kind of alpha. And then this is one of the best removals in in Aristocrat's deck. Dictate of Erebos. My God, I did not include Grave Pack because I feel like these cards are really annoying, so I include one just to have it. Very, very, very good removal. Toxic Deluge as just a general board wipe. I think every black deck should have Toxic Deluge. It's such a good card. It's just reprinted in Double Master, so hopefully it's a little cheaper than before. One of my new favorites, Pest Infestation, and it creates Pest, and it's good with Chatterfang. So removal that makes creatures is amazing. Force of Vigor, I include this because I want to do the gotcha moments on players. When I'm tapped out, they're like, oh, I'm going to do this crazy artifact thing. I'm like, Force of Vigor. I'm like, oh, that's what that's for. And then we have, I call this player removal, Crater Hoof Behemoth. Again, going wide, going with tokens. Got to have Crater Hoof Behemoth. Good player removal. Right there. And it just makes your creatures big for a turn. Coat of Arms makes your creatures big for a long time. Right there. So some pump. And I wanted to do Coat of Arms. I actually have other tribal decks that don't have Coat of Arms. But I think Coat of Arms is super good because this one pumps out so many squirrels. And it's not limited, right? Because each creature gets +1/+1 for each other creature in play that shares a creature type. So other token types of creatures can buff each other, and then squirrels can buff each other as well. So it's really, really a good card for this deck. Malakir Rebirth. Again, we're sacking creatures and stuff. And the way it's worded is, choose target creature, you lose 2 life. Until the end of turn, that creature gains when this creature dies. Return to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. So it doesn't matter how it dies. If you sack it or it gets killed or whatever, you get it back. So it's really good with death triggers. And it's a Mo double face card with Malakar Mire. And Balaget Recovery. I can't say too many good things about this card. The card's amazing. We get to our ramp. We are playing Sol Ring. Sol Ring can be tutored out with Urza Saga. I believe if you look, Urza Saga is going to be a staple of Commander. It might get banned in Modern. It might be too powerful. Who knows? But this just says search target Sol Ring. I think they made this so this can search target Sol Ring. But they also made it so it says search target Skull Clamp as well. So Urza Saga is very good. Here, it kind of replaces itself with a Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, other ramp spells, Deathrite Shaman. Now, in a more casual pod, you might not get fetch lands and everything, but Deathrite Shaman is just... It's another pet card of mine. Golgari definitely needs to go in the deck. Does some draining. Elves of Deep Shadow. Again, another pet card of mine. I've been waiting 15 years. Put this in legit decks. I got it. I bought the new border one, but it's got to go in the Golgari deck. Sakura Tribe Elder. It sacks itself, which is super great. And then we have the... I'm just going to hold these cards up here. Then we have the traditional ramp, Farseek. I know this is primary green deck. You don't usually play Farseek, but this can get Overgrown Tomb, the Woodland Chasm, and Swamps. 3 visits can get Forest, Overgrown Tomb, such like that. So these I like these over Ramp and Growth better because they can get your dual lands. Like Command Tower, like the Woodland Chasm now has basic land types, which makes it there's even more hits with these. Before there wasn't as many hits because they didn't have an extra dual land, but in a 2-color deck now they do. So here's your Rainbow lands. I love Nurturing Peatland. I really don't like the ETB tap lands because our general costs 3, and we want to play our general on 3 or play our general on turn 4 and have 1 black up for the the sack outlet, and then you can sack Chatterfang himself if you want. So that's why I like the untapped lands here. Got some fetch lands, Fabled Passage. If you're searching for a forest with Nature's Lore and 3 visits, you can get Gingerbread Cabin. Makes a token, good with Chatterfang. Oran Reef. This is insane with Chatterfang because you just tap it, put a +1/+1 counter on each of those squirrels at ETBs, and where else the ETB with the squirrels. As I mentioned, Yavimaya right here. Forest Walk Yavimaya. You like Chatterfang is a legit commander damage commander, so you could technically like get in there with the commander damage. Orborg with Cabal Coffers combo. Again, you got the Expedition map. You got some Diabolic Tutor, no Diabolic Intent, Demonic Tutor. Graveyard Hate, Pajuka Bog, Sack Outlets, Phyrexian Tower. Then you have your card draw, Castle Lockdown, War Room, and then you have Westvale Abbey that makes tokens. But the thing is, like, the cool part is I love these things that have dual roles. You can make tokens, or you can sack creatures. So sack and make tokens. Exactly what our deck wants to do. Both of those things. Strip Mine, just problematic lands. I've always wanted. I love this card. It's really cheap now with again from Zendikar Rising Expeditions. Get them now. Swarm Yard, regenerate target insect, rat, spider, or squirrel. Mostly for the squirrel. Can regenerate our Chatterfang. They have some basic lands. I've always wanted to include the M21 lands, so I included it here. Usually I include the lands of the set that's being released, but these lands look super cool, so I'm including those lands. Anyways, that is the deck here. I'm going to shuffle it up, do a quick goldfishing, let you see how Chatterfang works. But before I shuffle up, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be alerted for new videos and new cool videos like this Chatterfang when it releases. I have the deck list and TCG player affiliate link in the description below. So we're going to shuffle this deck up, and then we'll be right back. We are back, so let's do it. And remember, this is a more casual commander, right? Like, there is some potential to go really strong, do your thing. If you have Dictate of Erebos, you could just control the board. It does have built-in removal, as in sacrifice creature. So this is a, not super high power, more casual, more laid-back commander. Let's see what we got. Okay. We have Squirrel, Squirrel's Nest, Nature's Lore, Assassin's Trophy. Okay, got some low CMC stuff. Command Tower, which is great. Urza's Saga, which is great. Question is, okay, so first thing is, I know you probably want to play this one-mana spell right away, but I'd wait to play Chatterfang, because what could happen is you play turn 1 land, turn 2, 2 lands, then Nature's Lore for third land. Turn 3, you can you got 4 lands because you Nature's Lore for 1. Then you could play this and make 2 dudes. All right, let's see how it goes. The question is when to deploy Urza's Saga. We could deploy it in turn 1, but turn 3, when we need that mana, Chatterfang will go away. It will go away, replace with a Soul Ring or Skull Clamp. So we want to wait on this a little bit, not right away. So let's see what we get. Swarm Yard, okay. We can regenerate our Chatterfang. So what we could do is just play our Command Tower. I think what we want to do is play Urza's Saga a little later when we have Squirrels. Okay, turn 2. Another land, okay. We got our lands going on, so we're not really afraid of playing Urza's Saga that much. Do we play it now? I think we wait one more turn. So we play our Forest, do our Nature's Lore thing right there. That's what I'm saying. It can grab a Forest, come play untapped, but it doesn't matter. It comes to play tapped. So we want to get that. We could get our Overrun Tomb. We can get our Gingerbread Cabin, which would not make a food because we do not have 3 other forests, so we'll skip that. And we want that Woodland Chasm. I love that they made that in Coldheim. Like, it's so good. You just put your Woodland Chasm down. Now you have a dual land for the rest of the game. If you need untapped forest, you can just get an Overgrowth and put it into play untapped. Stuff like that. Because it does come into play untapped. Just another cool part about Nature's Lore. This thing's getting really expensive nowadays too. Commander's making all prices get really expensive. Okay, turn 3. This is probably where we want to play Chatterfang. Draw a card. Toski is good. I think what we want to do is wait till Chatterfang. Right, we could deploy Toski. We could, let's just deploy Urza's Saga right here. Bam. And put a counter on Urza's Saga. And then eventually we can get Skull Clamp. I think Skull Clamp's the way to go. We get Squirrel's Nest, make tokens. I think what we want to do is, let's get our commander on the battlefield, right? Chatterfang. And we came here to get our commander on the battlefield. Chatterfang. Okay. We have 1 mana left. We could play Squirrels, Swarm Yard to protect our commander, but everybody's usually ramping out at this point, so we got a little tiny window to use our commander, and we'll just play Chatter Squirrel. Then we'll make 2 Squirrels. Right here, Squirrel, Squirrel. And then we say go. We will go to 4. It's so weird. You draw your card, and then you put your counter on. Urza Saga. So now you make Construct. So you make Construct Squirrel if you want to. Let's play our land here. Is it more important to have a black land or Swarm Yard? We can play Swarm Yard here. 2 colorless lands. So what do we want to do? We got our Squirrels. We could flashback Chatter Squirrel. Remember, it has flashback. Azorius Predation, we're never playing that for anytime soon. Toski. So we could play Toski right here and get our cards flowing. A lot of things going on. We'll play Squirrel's Nest and make 2 Squirrels here. We could make a Construct and flashback Chatter Squirrel. I think I like that better. What we'll do is we'll just, but that exposes our Chatterfang without Swarm Yard backup. So what I think the plan is to keep our Chatterfang sack outlet up, keep our Swarm Yard up, and we'll just make a Construct. I think that's the best thing to do, is make a little Construct here. When we make a Construct, we make a Squirrel and a Construct, which is super great. All right, there. So now I have 3 Squirrels. Okay. And then we could just pass the turn. So now we have, if they play something ridiculous, we could just sack 3 Squirrels, remove their thing. This is a 1/1 Construct. Here, and if you try to kill our Chatterfang, we could just regenerate Chatterfang. So we got a bunch of things going on. All right, turn 5. This is super fun here. Draw a card. This thing's triggering, right? Okay, so we can respond to trigger on the stack with looking at our cards. We could tap for mana, float the mana. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, including the swamp. We could make the. I think what we want to do is just make the Construct, because Constructs are so awesome. We'll tap this and this. We'll make a second Construct here. All right, we'll let this die. And then, do we have good? I think Toski's good card draw. Do we want Skull Clamp, right? Or do we want Expedition Map and get our land back? I think we got with Toski here, and then with the Forest Walking Chatterfang, we could live without our Skull Clamp. It just depends what the table's doing. So I think what we want to do is just keep our mana flowing, because we're kind of crypt on mana. We don't have Urborg, so Cabal, getting Expedition Map to kill Cabal Coffers isn't that great. So what we'll do is we'll just grab our Soul Ring. So Skull Clamp was next card too. Oh man, we could have both if we waited. Let's see here. We'll just grab our Soul Ring. Comes into play. Our Constructs are 3/3 now. Remember that. So our Constructs grow pretty quickly. And then we made a Construct, so it makes another Squirrel with Chatterfang there too. Almost forgot. All right, so now we got a Soul Ring here going on, which is great. I'll cut the deck here. And then we get to not draw the card because we drew it already. Play our Swamp here. Soul Ring Swamp, so I have 4 mana. Now, if we want to draw cards, what we'll do is deploy Toski. Right here, I think we want to deploy Toski, leaving up the Swarm Yard. Swarm Yard is very important. Here. And then we can attack Chatterfang right there. Because that's Forest Walk, just attack somebody with that's playing green, which is almost everybody in Commander nowadays. Draw a card from Toski, triggering Chatterfang. Crossing Beast. Okay, so now we're running on all cylinders. We got Swarm Yard again. Try to kill it. We could regenerate. We have an Indestructible Squirrel now. Life is good. Life is good. Bam. We got some 3/3 Constructs we can attack with here. Draw a card. Diabolic Intent. That's even more greater. Now this can be our Skull Clamp right there. I don't know what we want to do. We could just, we came here to make some squirrels, right? Let's just attach squirrel's nest to, we'll attach it to our swamp. Right there. Attach squirrel's nest to our swamp. We will tap our soul ring. Here we float a mana. Too much lands. We'll float 1 colorless mana. We want to keep this untapped. Protecting our commander is very key at this point. Float that mana, tap a black. We'll Diabolic Intent. We will go searching for our Skull Clamp. That's one way to get a Skull Clamp, right? And we will pass the turn, right? Yep, we will. Oh, well, we'll attack with Toski again. Why not? No, not Toski, Chatterfang, and Toski has to attack here. Draw another card off of our Toski Chatterfang trigger. Oh, we drew a land. We did not play a land this turn. We'll just play that land too. Sweet. Now we can play our Skull Clamp. We could clamp it, but nah, we're just gonna wait. We'll just take 1 extra turn just for fun. All right. So Assassin's Trophy. Never had the mana to spend it yet. Okay, so we'll just take our extra turn here. Untap our things. Super fun. Right there. Oh, before we take our extra turn, we forgot to make our 2 squirrels from Squirrel's Nest. Now this is in our hand. Oh no, it's in the battlefield because we played draw a card, Arcane Signet. And this stuff pumps our constructs too. Don't forget your artifacts pump your constructs. We got Arcane Signet. We got Skull Clamp, so we're like, oh, I need to draw a card. Let's just pay 2. We'll just clamp 2 squirrels and draw 4 cards. Like, wow, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. None of them are land. Belgate Recovery is a land, but this could be a land. Expedition Map could be a land. We could play Arcane Signet. We could tap, make more tokens. We could kill things with Chatterfang. We can even clamp our Toski. We don't want to clamp our Toski. That's mean. Make a big Crossing Beast. Azorius Predation. Underworld Hermits. We sack things. So we are running all cylinders, which is amazing right here. This deck is pretty fun. Again, not the most powerful deck like, which deck I had? Like Beldrill's Witherbloom or Viren. You just hit lethal right away. You just laid back, make some tokens, have some fun, regenerate your commander, draw some cards, clamp them. This deck's super fun. So I really enjoy making these tokens, and I hope you enjoyed this this journey on to the land of squirrels, going nuts, of course. Oh, I totally forgot to use my little squirrel tokens, man. Use these dice. Bam. Right here, little squirrel tokens. Attack you, tap them, boom, attack. Okay, anyways, I'm done messing around. This is super fun with my little squirrel tokens. I hope you enjoy the deck tech. Again, if you enjoyed it, give it a video a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be alerted for my videos. And as always, have a wonderful day.